Rock splitting. When we first excavated the hole in which we were building Underhill, the excavator worked his way down with his heavy machinery in this hillside, and when he got about 4 feet above the point where we needed to be, he hit solid bedrock. So that means we had two options. One was blasting, which is expensive and requires special permits, and the other is a process of hydraulic rock splitting, which is also expensive but doesn't require any permits. And it involves two steps. First is drilling holes in the rock. You can see the remnants of the holes here and here. And then lowering special hydraulic equipment, in which over the course of several minutes cracks that hole open, and then the rock can be removed. There's a guy here nearby, John Reilly, who does this. He has very specialized equipment. There aren't many people who do it. He'd been working for a few days when he came up to me and said, "So I understand you're not afraid of work." And just as a heads up, if anybody ever asks you if you're afraid of work, the correct answer is yes. I said no. And he said, "Well, you'd save a lot of money if you did the drilling and then I just did the splitting. And I'll show you how to do it." So it involved renting an air compressor that's so big it had to be towed behind a truck, renting the rock drill, and then doing the drilling. Each one of these holes had to be about 2 feet deep in order for the guy's hydraulic equipment to work correctly. And each one of those took about 10 minutes to drill when everything went perfectly, which it rarely did. And what would happen is that John Reilly would go all along the back of the excavation with a can of paint, make little spray paint spots everywhere where he thought the rock should be cracked. Then I would drill it, and then he would come with his equipment, crack it open, then the excavator, Anthony Sakula, would come back, drag that rock out of the way and move it, and then we would repeat the process and move down little by little until we were down at the level we needed to be to build the house. Over the course of that phase of the construction, I drilled about 600 of these holes. And it was the hardest and most physically uncomfortable work I've ever done in my life. The drill is loud, so you have to wear earplugs. It kicks out dust, so you have to wear a breather mask. It kicks out little chips of rock, so you have to wear goggles. And to keep the drill from jamming, you have to put hydraulic oil in the hose, so when it's kicking out the dust is also oily, so it sticks to every square inch of your body. And to make it worse, this drill is about 80 pounds and it's top heavy. And sometimes, I can't see a really good example here, but if you can imagine it looking at this rock face, sometimes the excavator would say that he wants the hole, say, up here on the side of the rock face. So I would have to jam my foot against it, put the drill bit in the notch of my foot, and then drill until it got deep enough that that drill bit would stay in the rock and then I could drill it. And then sometimes if I didn't hold it perfectly straight, it would jam, the drill bit would stop, and the top of the drill would turn around and hit me in the face while I was trying to reach the controls to turn it off. And then I would have to unwind the hose from it, reposition the drill, and start again. The most I ever did in one day was 64 holes. It was absolutely awful. I'm so glad that phase of the job is over.